Major General Ashok Kumar, sir, what we look at these two guests, the chief guests representing the EU. Now, the EU is a union of 27 nations, and India, of course, is a union of states. So, and both have plurality, diversity, and also different languages. So, both are democracies. In this context, as both of you are men from the military background, how would you look at, the combining of the essential or let's say the things that link the two regions, let's say the EU as a grouping and India also with its plurality and diversity and democracy?
See, the European Union, it is primarily an economic grouping. Okay. As against the issue of Indian states, which is part of the sovereign nation. But what is strikingly important in both the cases is that India in late years, in the recent years, have taken a lot of steps to ensure that its states, the constituents, grow rapidly and economically, because it now believes that unless the states grow, the nation cannot grow. So that way, as European Union is trying to bring up all its constituents on the economic model, same is the approach of India for its states. And as you have rightly brought out, since both are democracies and both believe in the dialogue, conversation for issues to be resolved or progresses to be made. So I think they are on a convergent path, not only for the economic coherence, but yes, also in multiple other fields which we talked earlier, in terms of the strategic partnership, in terms of the meeting each other's security needs, especially in the emerging world order, which is really distressing to say the least. There is a famous saying, at times, number of decades take to make a week, and at times just a week makes number of decades. So today we are in that era where the events of a week are dictating as to how the decades are changing in front of our eyes. And therefore, I think both the nations which did not progress their conversation on the economic agreement, which is likely to happen tomorrow or in the near future, as Alokji has brought out, is moving so fast, denying the time period of 19 to 20 years earlier. So I think we both need each other, and we both need each other not for our mutual gain, but largely for the good of the world also. Because we both together, have, coverage of more than 2 billion people, close to 20 to 25% of economic power. So therefore, we can be a good anchor for the yes, stability in various continents and in the world.
Yes. Also, sir, continuing with you for now, I was looking at the figures of indigenization as far as Indian defense is concerned. So 65 to 75% indigenization of defense sector has taken place. This is again a far cry from what we had a decade ago when we were mainly import dependent as far as exports are concerned. Also, looking at exports now, they've reached a record 23,622 crore, so close to 24,000 crore in the last financial year 2024-25. And if you look at what we are exporting in terms of defense equipments, and we are exporting bulletproof jackets, radars, torpedoes, patrol boats to 100 plus countries, and we are now targeting 50,000 crore rupees in exports by 2029. So what we saw today is a glimpse of India's growing self-reliance in the defense sector, isn't it?
Absolutely, Mohanji. If you really see, there have been number of years in the defense domain of India, wherein we have been the top 3 importers of defense equipment in the world. In fact, our defense inventory at a time was more than 80% constituted from import of the defense equipment. Thereafter, now the entire dimension has changed, and though we were exporting some of the defense equipment, but they were of a very, very trivial nature, like boots, uniform and things like that. But now India is exporting big products, the radars, BrahMos missiles, the rockets, guns and anything. Initially, our role was limited to exporting the equipment and not to those countries which were part of the conflict. Because once you are exporting an equipment when a country is at fight, then apparently you indicate to be taking a side. So this constraint on our national thinking has been done away with. We exported to Armenia at a time when the Armenia and Azerbaijan were at fighting each other, and we have exported the major defense equipment to Armenia, which is still continuing. We are in the process of exporting BrahMos missiles to a number of countries in the Indo-Pacific and to the Middle East, and now everybody, especially seeing our prowess during Operation Sindoor, is having full trust on the capability of our products in the range, precision, and sustenance, and we are more than happy to support them as a partner and a friend rather than in an exploitatory mode. Therefore, time has come that it is going to be time of India. Our inventory has now dependent predominantly in indigenous equipment. Of course, there are certain critical components where we still have to go long ways in terms of the technology, which we are working with our friends like Israel and other countries for technology transfer or co-production or manufacturing together for the Make in India effort. And though the current target has been spelled out at 50,000, but in a decade's time, we are sure that we will be the net surplus defense export country as against depending on the import. And therefore, I think the government's focus and the acceptance of the defense forces to fight and derive its war-fighting doctrines and strategies on Indian equipment is something marvelous, which was not seen earlier that this could unfold in times to come. So we are privileged to be in those times, which is going to be a path to our golden time of India.